So in this video, we're going to be building a Tinder clone using Adalo. And if you don't know what Tinder is, it's an app for meeting people, and you're going to see throughout the tutorial exactly how it works. So here we are in Adalo. We're going to create a native mobile app. We're going to hit next. We're going to do blank screen, and we're going to call it Tinder test app. We're going to hit create. So now we have an app created. We have a quick template. We have a sign up. We have a login screen, and we have a home screen. So right away, what I want to do is I want to create a bunch of screens that are going to be used throughout the app. So the first screen I want to create is I'm going to go to add screen, and I'm going to add a screen with an app bar, and we're going to call this matches. Okay, and the next screen that I want to create, actually you can even copy and paste it, and this screen is going to be called chats. So I'm going to go in here, say chat. I'm going to call the screen chat. This one is matches. And the idea here is that a person is going to either sign up or they're going to log in. They're going to go to the home screen. The home screen is going to have two functions. It's going to allow them to look at new people to see if they want to match with that person or not. And they're going to see their existing matches on this screen here. And then they can pick a specific match and chat with that person on this screen. So let's go ahead and add a couple of components to these screens. And that way I know exactly what's going on. It gives me a visual representation of how the app is going to work, which allows me to easier build out this app. So I'm going to add a couple of lists here. And these two screens are essentially going to be the same thing, except they're going to be switched on back and forth with the tabs. So why don't we go ahead and add a tab bar to this screen and a tab bar to this screen. We are going to have just two tabs for the purpose of this tutorial, just to have the functionality. I'm going to disable the other three. So this is going to be home, and this is going to be our matches. Okay, so we're going to go in here. Second tab, we're just gonna call it, we're gonna search for person, gonna put person here, just gonna call it matches. Okay, and same thing here. Actually, we can just delete this one, copy and paste, put it here, and the active tab is gonna be the second one. So we're gonna go in here, tab bar, active tab, second tab. The next thing I want to do is I want to configure this last screen, which is going to be our chat screen. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to change the tab bar. This is going to be chat. And if we go to the title, we're going to call this chat. So this is going to be a screen where our user is going to be chatting with one of the matches. So we're going to configure all of this later. But right now, what I want to do is I want to get an input there for the text field. We're going to have an input here, and we're going to have a button. Okay, there's a button. I'm going to fix this up. Let's get this button, and we're going to say send. Send. I'm just going to make this smaller, this a little bit longer. And now we're kind of done with the initial UI design. We have our sign up login screen. We have the home screen here where the user is going to see new people that they might want to match with, and they can go to this tab bar where they see their existing matches. They can click on this match here, and they're going to be chatting with this match. So actually, let's go in here and let's remove the left section. All right, so now the UI is pretty much done. The next thing we want to do is we want to look at our database here. We want to make sure it's set up correctly. We have an email, password, username, and full name. So we want to add a couple of records. So I want to add a relationship back to users. That's going to be matches, right? Because there's going to be some matches there, and that's going to be separate. So we're going to say that is matches. I also want to add an avatar, which is going to be an image because we want to show pictures of these people. Avatar. Next, we want to add gender. So this is going to be text. We're going to say gender. And so at this point, this is what we have right now. We want to create a new collection. This is going to be called messages. Now in this collection, we're going to have a name. We're going to have a property called an owner, which is going to link back to users. And so a user can have multiple messages. A message belongs to one user. That is what we want. And we're going to call this owner. Back in our users collection, we want to add another property. It's going to be a relationship to messages. because, you know, a person can send multiple messages to multiple people. We're gonna do that. So at this point, we have a users collection and we have a messages collection. And right now, our data structure is complete. Next, we need users. And for that, I'm gonna go to the site called randomuser.me and generate a bunch of random users. I'm gonna be generating a sample of users, 50% female, 50% male, along with an avatar, a name, email, all that stuff, using their API. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And so I went ahead and generated a sample of users. We have 5 male and 5 female. We have first, last name, we have email, we have their login username, password. And what's really nice is that we also have their profile picture. So this is a sample image of a male and this is a sample image of a female. These are all AI generated. And so I'm gonna go ahead and import them into our Adalo collection right now. Okay, so I went ahead and imported all the data here. So now we have 11 records. We have 5 females, 5 males, and I also created my own personal account that I can use in order to log in as myself. So here we are. We have a female here, we have a male here, all of that using the data from that random user website. And we have my account, which doesn't have an image. That way we can easily tell if it's me writing messages or somebody else. We can tell them apart easily. Now the flow begins with the user going to their home screen and looking at new possible matches. And unfortunately in Adalo, there's really no built-in way in order to get like a random element from a collection or get the next data element from a collection. And so I started researching and I realized there's actually a custom component that's already built called the Adalo Random Picker. So if you go back to our Adalo app, add component, we scroll down, we explore the marketplace and we search for random, we have this component right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and install it. It's already installed, and this way I can mimic a behavior where we need a random element from a collection to be picked or the next element or anything like that. So if we come back here and we search for random, we already have this component. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag it here. Now the way this component works is that it's actually a button and it's going to display some kind of value from the element that we want to display. So if we are pulling in users, we can display username or first name or email, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it is not possible to display an image. This would need to be another component, but I figure if I had a little bit more time, it's going to be fairly trivial to modify this plugin to give us an image component instead of this button component. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're gonna use this as is. So we're gonna have this button here, and this button is gonna display the next possible match, somebody that we might want to match with. And then we're gonna have another button. We're gonna come here, we're gonna add another button, and this button is gonna be kind of like a left swipe. We can't really implement swipe gestures, but we can mimic them. And so this button right here is gonna act like a left swipe, meaning that we do not want to match with this person. And in that case, it's gonna refresh the whole thing and show us the next match. While this button is gonna be our intent of wanting to match with this person, okay? So the thing about Adalo is that there's really no built-in way of refreshing this screen here. So we're gonna mimic that by creating another screen here. We're gonna create another blank screen. We're gonna call that refresh. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it above. So we're gonna take this screen here, we're gonna place it here. And so every time we click this left button, we are mimicking a left swipe. So we're gonna say left swipe. And what's that gonna do is that's simply gonna come here, and then this is gonna refresh back here. And that's gonna refresh this whole thing, and it's gonna display the next match. So I'm gonna create an action here. I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna say add an action link to refresh here. I'm gonna do this. And then on this screen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an action, add action when the user visits that screen to go back, right? So this is gonna be a link back to home. And this way, when they click on that left swipe, it's gonna simply come here and then it's gonna come back, refreshing the screen and showing us a new match. Now this button right here, this is our custom component. And so the collection we want is users, And we don't want the user email. We're gonna display maybe their username. Okay, we can display anything. And for not found, we're gonna say not found. No more users, or whatever you want, you can put there. Now the first thing that we need to do is we need to define the behavior of this button right here. And the way it's gonna work is that once we see a person that we want to match, we're gonna click on this button. Now, if this person already matched us previously, we want to redirect to the matches screen in order to show the existing matches. And that way this person can start chatting with us, we can start chatting, then we can initiate contact. If this person did not match us, what we want to do is we want to refresh the screen and show us the next match. And we're going to do that by redirecting to this blank screen here, and this screen is going to redirect back. Now, before we do that, there's one more thing that we need to do. We need to have the right logic for showing future matches. Now, the first thing that we want to do is we only want to display users that are of the opposite gender as the person who is using the app. So if it's a male using the app, we're only going to be displaying females. If it's a female, we're only going to be displaying males. And so we want to set a filter here. So we're going to click here, we're going to do all users, and we're going to create a custom filter. So the filter is going to be gender is not equal to logged in users gender. So that way it's going to display all the users that are of the opposite gender of the person that's actually using the app. The next thing that we want to do is we want to create logic as to what happens when the user presses this button. So let's say they like this person they're seeing, they want to match up, and the logic is going to work like this. Depending on if the other person also expressed interest, it's either going to redirect to the matches or it's going to redirect here. So if the user presses this button and the other person already expressed interest, it's going to redirect to the matches view here so that they can start chatting. If the other person did not yet express interest, it's going to refresh the screen so that the user can continue to keep matching others. The first thing that we want to do is we want to add an action where we are going to be expressing the intent that we want to match someone. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to add an action. We're going to update the logged in user, and we're going to add the current match. So what we want to do is we want to add the current user to our matches array, to the list of matches that we're currently interested in. The next thing that we want to do is we want to create logic where if the other user already matched us, and we're obviously matching them because we're pressing on this button, we want to redirect to this matches screen, and here we're going to display all the matches. So we want to create a link to the matches, and we're going to be passing in the current user, and we only want to do that if the other user matched us already. So we're going to say sometimes, and we're going to say only if the current user matches contains us. So meaning on their side, they matched us already. So we're going to do something like this. Now, if they did not match us already, we want to redirect to this thing, which is going to redirect back and refresh the screen. So we're going to add another action. This is going to be a link to our refresh here. And the transition is going to be none because it's like a refresh. We're going to do advanced. We're going to do sometimes. This action only happens if the current user matches does not contain us, meaning on their side they have not yet or will not ever match with us. So we're gonna do something like this. So now the actions here are complete, and so now we can test the app and see what do we have so far. So I'm gonna log in as myself so that we can see other matches. All right, so here we have the left swipe. Here we have a possible match. And if we go into our database here, Organic Gorilla is a female, just as we were expecting. So I can do a left swipe, and we have another female here. So let's say I want to match her. I can click that, and then we're going to be seeing new matches. So right now we're going to finish the other two screens, and then I'm going to log in as the other user and show you the behavior of the other user. So on this screen here, what we want to do is we want to show the matches who we matched that also matched us back. And thankfully, that's relatively trivial to do with Adalo. And so we're gonna click here, we're gonna say this is a list of users, but not all users. We only want the users who we matched, but also matched us back. So we're gonna say logged in user matches, which is, let's say, me as the person who is logging in. And we're gonna create a custom filter, and we're gonna say the other user matches here. We're gonna say matches all contains us, right? Contains us here. So meaning that we want only the people that we matched, and then they matched us back. So I matched one person. If she matches me, it's gonna be displayed there. So I'm gonna log in as her, and I'm gonna match myself. Now, if you go into the database, you can see exactly what's going on. So here's our database, and this is me right here. And if you scroll over, you will see that I have an intent to match somebody else, and this person has not matched me yet. And so if I run this app again and I go into the matches tab, you can see that I have no matches, and that is because I showed an intent, but that person has not shown their intent to match me back. And that is why I'm gonna log in as that person, and I'm gonna match myself, and that way we are gonna see something in the matches here. So I'm gonna be logging in as this person here. I set their password to password. We're gonna log in, and we see the first match as me. Now, if it wasn't me, I would just left swipe through everybody else until I see myself. Now I can hit James, and once I do that, it automatically redirects to the matches screen, just like how the logic was designed to do. And here I can click and I can start chatting, and this is the only screen that's still left to do. Now if I go back, log out, log in as myself, I should see this person here along with the avatar and possibly some text here as well. So right now I'm logging in as myself here. There we go. So if I go into matches, I see this person here who also matched me back. You cannot chat with this person yet because we haven't done the functionality, which we're gonna do in 1 second. So first we need to create a link from this matches screen, which is really a chat screen, different chats, to this specific message screen, okay? So we're gonna comment here, we're gonna do a link, add action link to our chat here, and it's automatically passing in the current user. And here we need to have a list of messages, but not just any messages. We need to make sure this is actually a conversation between the person who is logged in and the person who we are having a conversation with. So this is a list of messages, and we want to make sure that this is logged in users messages. We're going to add a custom filter. We are going to say current message users, because the message object is going to have both of these people there. So it's going to be me and somebody else, contains the current user. Okay, so this is what we have now. And this way, we will be seeing a conversation that we are having with another person. And so if you run this app right now, we should be able to be redirected to that screen. So here we are, we click this, now we are having a chat. Now we don't have any messages yet, and that is why we need to configure this thing here so that it sets the correct message for the correct chat here. And so we're gonna go to the send button, and we need to create a bunch of actions. First, we need to create a message. And the message is gonna be this input here. If you go in here, other components input. And what we wanna do is we wanna set the owner as the logged in user, because every message is going to have the owner, the person who sent it, logged in user. Next, what we want to do is we want to add the users that are in the conversation to that message. So what I mean by that is we're going to have another action. We're going to update the new message. We're going to scroll down, and we are going to add the user. We're going to say add the current user, and we can have another action as well, update the new message. And we can say that the user, another user, is gonna be us. We can do that here as well. It's up to you where you want to do it. And now when we actually send the message, it's gonna be part of the conversation we are having with the correct user. So we're gonna preview the app. We're gonna go in here. We have our match here, which are essentially like chats. We're gonna come here and we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna send a message. And as you can see, the message is displayed here. We can go back. We can come here and we're seeing the message. The only thing that's left to do is maybe show the avatar of the owner of that message, maybe show the message created date or an updated date if we can edit the messages. And that is something we're gonna do right now. So we're gonna come here. We are gonna go to the left section. We're gonna enable it. We're gonna say an avatar image, database owner's avatar is gonna be the owner. And the subtitle, we wanna do we don't want the subtitle, we want the messages created date. Okay, and we also want to sort these messages in a specific order. So we're gonna go to a simple list here. We're gonna do sorting. We're gonna do oldest to newest. That way newer messages are showing at the bottom and oldest are at the top. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go to matches. We have our match. We have our message here, and this is from me. And that is why it's not showing the avatar, because I haven't set my own avatar. And we can say something else, second message. We can do that. And now we're seeing a second message a few seconds ago, a minute ago. So I'm gonna log in as the user that I'm chatting with, and I'm gonna enter messages from the other user's account to see if they're showing up correctly. So here I am logging in. I'm logging in, log in. All right, we can match more people if you want, but we're gonna go into matches. We're gonna see me there, and we're gonna see my messages. So I'm gonna say, hey there. I'm gonna hit send. And now this message is showing up with an avatar. And so if I go in and log in as myself now, I will see the whole conversation here. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can go back and we can match with another person. So this green meerkat, which is this person in our database right here, right? This is Theodore. I'm gonna match with this person. And as this person did not match with me initially, it refreshes the screen so I can match with another person. This is Crazy Bird, and Crazy Bird is this Dustin. So I'm gonna hit that. And we have another user here. This is White Zebra, and this is this person right here. This is Edgar. So I'm gonna match with this person as well. And for now, that's enough. So if I go into the database, I can see all the matches, right? So if I go in here, as you can see, this person has expressed an intent to match with 4 users. And this person, which is me, has expressed an intent to match with 1 user. And so if I go in here, we have this person. This is who I expressed an intent to match with. And if we go in here, this is who this person expressed an intent to match with 4 of these users here. So if any one of these users go in and decide to match back with this user, they're gonna have a match screen where they can initiate conversation and all of that. And lastly, I'm gonna log in back as myself, and I'm gonna go back into that chat and see if the messages are showing up correctly. All right, so here's my match. I only have 1 match. If I click here, I see the message from the person. And obviously, if I decide to match with others and they match with me back, I'm gonna be seeing more messages. Now, another thing that we can do is we can go to this matches here and we can create a way to delete matches. So that is very, very easy. So you want to create a right section. We want to enable it, and we want to just add an icon here. So instead of maybe a plus button, we can have a delete button. So maybe something like this here, delete forever. And the way it's going to work is when they click on it, we are going to remove the current user from our own matches. So that's very, very easy to do. We're going to add an action. We are going to update the logged in user, and we are going to go into the matches. We're going to remove the current user. So we're essentially removing this current user wherever we click the row from our own match. And that way the user can always remove existing matches if they so desire. So that is all I wanted to show you in this video. Like you see, it's fairly trivial and it's fairly straightforward to go out and to build complicated apps using no-code tools. So I really hope you've gotten value here. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Like this video if you enjoyed it and you've gotten value. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these sorts of videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you real soon.